What would happen if the most advanced technology in land warfare faced one of the most feared forces of the Middle Ages? You are there. You smell the burning fuel, feel the heat radiating from the armor plating. Beneath your feet, the steel vibrates. In the distance, a thick dust rises. It is not smoke, but the dirt being kicked up simultaneously by 10,000 horse hooves, 10,000 ironclad riders, shields held high, lances poised to charge. Facing them, 7 steel giants, modern tanks. Cannons ready, engines roaring, crews prepared for a battle that no history book ever foresaw. The question is inevitable. Can 7 21st century machines halt the fury of 10,000 medieval knights? Or will the overwhelming numbers ultimately crush them? We are not talking about old tanks. These are the colossi of modern warfare. M1A2 Abrams main battle tanks designed to confront mechanized armies, not cavalry. Over 60 tons of steel, depleted uranium, and composite materials capable of resisting impacts from modern anti-tank cannons. Impossible to penetrate with swords, lances, or arrows. Main armament: 120mm smooth-bore cannon, capable of firing projectiles at nearly 2 kilometers per second. Each impact is devastating. It can destroy a modern enemy tank from over 2 kilometers away. Secondary armament: 7.62mm coaxial machine gun, .50 caliber M2 machine gun mounted on the turret, another remote-controlled machine gun for the gunner. Speed and mobility: a gas turbine engine that can propel it over 70 kilometers per hour, can turn on its own axis, can climb hills, crush walls, and traverse obstacles. But even these monsters have a limit. Limited ammunition, fuel that depletes quickly, crews that can tire and make mistakes. The medieval threat: 10,000 knights. 10,000 mounted men, each clad in steel plate or chainmail armor, carrying cavalry lances, swords, war axes, and shields. Formation and strategy: heavy cavalry in the vanguard, arrayed in wedges to break lines. Light cavalry on the flanks, ready to envelop and harass. Archers in the rear, unleashing a constant rain of arrows. They have no gunpowder. They have no artillery. They have the determination to die fighting. The looming clash is not just a fight. It is an impossible encounter between 2 epochs. The start of the battle. The tanks are positioned on a low hill, forming a semicircle. The grass is flattened beneath their tracks. The sky is clouded, heavy, as if it knows what is about to happen. Then you see them. On the horizon, a cloud of dust that grows and grows until it darkens the sun. The sound arrives first as a distant murmur, then as a constant thunder, the gallop of thousands of horses. The commander gives the order over the radio. Cannons ready, fire at will. The first shot shakes your entire body. The projectile travels with a dull roar, and in less than a second, it impacts the center of the enemy formation. Horses and riders fly through the air. The earth opens in a smoking crater. The smell of gunpowder mixes with the dust, but the charge does not stop. The knights don't understand what just happened. They don't know what an armor-piercing round is. They only see fire, smoke, and death, and that makes them accelerate. The machine guns open fire. The sound is deafening, a constant buzz slicing through the air. The .50 caliber rounds tear through shields and armor as if they were paper. Horses fall in rows. The charge shatters into pieces, but the gaps are immediately filled. The main cannon fires again. Another explosion, another rain of bodies. But still, the human tide advances. The tanks fire one after another, coordinated, creating an inferno of steel and fire. The ground trembles with every shot. The air becomes thick, hot, and unbreathable. For an instant, you feel something strange. This is not a battle, it is a massacre. The second wave. Just when you think it's over, the dust rises again. Another formation appears on the horizon. The survivors of the first wave regroup, shout, raise their lances, and charge once more. The commander orders a change of position. The tracks turn, the metal screech, the tanks descend a few meters to avoid being flanked. The smell of burnt fuel fills the air. Arrows begin to rain down. They pierce the turrets, bounce off the armor plating. Some remain vibrating like needles. From inside the tank, you only hear the dull thuds, but outside, the sky seems to darken from the sheer number of projectiles. The crew remains calm. Another shot, another burst. Bodies continue to fall, but something changes. The knights are starting to learn. Instead of charging en masse, they split into small groups, attempting to attack from multiple angles. Tension reaches its peak. The tanks are surrounded. For every knight who falls, 2 more take his place. The machine guns are red hot. Ammunition begins to run low. One group manages to get within 50 meters. The tanks swivel their turrets, firing grape shot at point-blank range. The impact is brutal. Limbs and horses fly everywhere. Limits of the tanks. The commander makes a quick calculation. Fuel for a few more hours. Ammunition for perhaps 1 more charge, but not for 10,000 enemies. Sweat runs down your forehead. The air inside the tank is thick, heavy with smoke and tension. The crew's hands shake as they load the projectiles. Every shot is now measured, precise, because every round counts. When the dust finally settles, all that remains is silence. Silence and the smell of death. The smoke from the tank cannon still drifts in the air like a cursed fog. The field before you is a canvas of twisted steel, dismembered horses, immobile men with hands still crutching their swords. But there is no celebration. There are no cheers. What just occurred was not a battle. It was a massacre. You look at the survivors, if that word even makes sense. Some knights have thrown away their weapons. Others simply kneel in the mud, their gaze lost, as if their minds have broken. No ballista, no catapult, no hero of flesh and blood could halt the roar of the machines. And this is where the question you cannot help asking yourself arises. Was it necessary? Was it fair? Because it was not a contest. There was no equal duel. There was no chance of victory for the side that relied only on steel, flesh, and courage. Maybe this is the true horror of the image that you have just seen. Not that 10,000 people died, but that they had no chance of survival. No matter their training, their valor, their faith in God or their king, no matter that they were the elite of their time, everything became useless the moment the first projectile pierced the first shield. And then you understand something. If 7 tanks can erase 10,000 knights, what does that mean for us today? What would happen if the weapons of the future fell into our present? History is a cycle. Today you feel protected by steel. Tomorrow you might just be another shadow under the sight of something much more lethal. If you liked this video, give it a like, subscribe, and don't hesitate to leave your opinion in the comment section.